people. Today we will take a look at your virology. Your virology, this is the study of viruses or virus. And please note that in the curriculum, as what we said last time, your mycoviro or your mycology and virology, they are as one. Okay, they are as one course or they are as one subject, and it does not have a laboratory component. It does not have a laboratory component. Please note that, yes, the prerequisite, okay, still in the curriculum, the prerequisite for mycology and virology is bacte or bacteriology. It is bacteriology. Anyway, as what we said, your virus, they are small in size or they are the smallest in size among your three, yes, among your four uh, infectious organisms. Anyway, your virology, it is a branch of microbiology that focuses on, no? Yeah, that focuses on or that deals with, that deals with that deals with the virus accordingly. Please note that your Dmitry Iwanovsky is the father, okay, of virology, because based on his observation, he observed that extracts from diseased tobacco, okay, extracts from diseased tobacco plants could transmit disease to other parts after passage through a ceramic filter that is fine enough to retain the smallest known bacteria. Okay, and so we try to filter, but then still, nagkakasakit pa rin yung tobacco. So probably, it is not caused by bacteria. Anyway, as what we said, it is a branch of microbiology that deals with the virus. What else? The structure of the virus, as well as replication of the virus and disease process or diseases, okay, that are caused. Okay, and yes, in this one, we will also take a brief look at your uh, host interactions, pathogenesis, and immune response and the immune response. Anyway, your virus for the general characteristic, your virus, they are obligate intracellular parasite. They are obligate intracellular parasite, meaning they cannot generate adenosine triphosphate. Unlike for bacteria, your bacteria it does not have it does not have cytoplasmic organelles, but then, or yes, it does not have mitochondria somewhat, but then uh, there is a means for it to produce ATP. Okay, but then, yes, for your virus, it cannot generate adenosine triphosphate. It cannot synthesize proteins or replicate independently accordingly. Okay, and so yes, they are intracellular parasites. Since your virus, they cannot produce or they cannot synthesize proteins, they cannot generate ATP, so they enter the cell for them to thrive. They enter the cell for them to thrive. Please note, it is your virus, they are obligate intracellular parasite, meaning if they are outside of the environment or outside of the body, this one, okay, they cannot, they do not die accordingly. They do not die. Anyhow, your virus, they lack ribosomes and other organelles. They do not lack ribosomes. For a bacteria, it has ribosome that is 70 Swedberg, I think. Anyway, your what do you call this? Your virus, okay, they replicate only inside living hosts cell. They only replicate the inside living host cell. Okay, and please note that your virus can either be a DNA or RNA virus. Please note your virus can contain DNA or RNA, but not both. Okay, that is why soon there is what you call as RNA virus. There is what you call as DNA virus. When you say DNA virus, the genetic material is DNA. When you say RNA virus, the RNA, I mean the genetic material is RNA. And yes, sabi natin, it does not have your virus, does not have a ribosomes and other cytoplasmic organelles. And yes, the genetic strand, or yes, the genome, the genetic strand of the virus, okay, again, can be DNA or RNA, but not both. Okay, can be RNA or DNA, but not both. Please note that what they call this, the DNA or the RNA that is present in, yes, that is present, okay, it contain, I mean, they are single-stranded or can be double-stranded. Okay, that is for your virus. Okay, as what we said earlier, again, your virus, they are small. Okay, they are small. What do you call this? They are small. Your bacteria, they are small. Okay, your bacteria, they are small. But then for your virus, they are very small. Okay, typically 20 to 300 nanometers, and they are smaller than bacteria. Please note that ordinary microscopy cannot visualize virus. Ordinary microscopy cannot visualize your virus. What type of microscope can be utilized to visualize your virus? You can make use of, yes, you can make use of, what they call this, you can make use of water heater cannon. Okay, that is, or sorry, water heater. Anyway, if yes, as what we said, your virus, they are not visible under a ordinary microscope, under a bright field microscope. To visualize, okay, to visualize your virus, you make use of electron microscopy. To visualize your virus, you make use of electron microscopy. You can either employ scanning or uh, transmission. Okay, scanning or transmission accordingly. Okay. And yes, let's take a look at your viral structure. Your viral structure here, okay, your viral structure, you have your nucleic acid core, or that is the genome, no? This nucleic acid core, this one is your viral, or the, yes, the viral genome. And then you have the capsid. Okay, the capsid or your capsid here, this is a shell or a protein shell. The capsid is a protein shell that is made, your capsid is made of capsomeres, which is made of capsomeres. And then you have your nucleocapsid. Your nucleocapsid is made of the I mean, made of capsid and, yes, a capsid and a genome. Nucleocapsid is made of a genome and a capsid accordingly. And then, of course, you have, yes, you have the envelope. You have the envelope, okay, and so which is a characteristic of some viruses. For your envelope, they have a lipid bilayer with glycoprotein spikes. And yes, your virus, they have shapes, even if they are too small to be seen by the naked eye, smaller than a bacteria, they still have shapes. You have, your virus can be icosahedral, can be helical, or can be complex accordingly. Okay, please note that the nucleic acid core or the genome, viral genome, it encodes viral proteins that are needed for replication and assembly. Please note that the nucleic acid core or the uh yes, your nucleic acid core, they are utilized what you call this, utilize to replicate, okay, DNA or yes, DNA in the nuclei. Okay, while your RNA viruses, they usually reside or they are usually present in the cytoplasm, usually present in the cytoplasm. Again, when you see icosahedral, it has a lot of sides. Okay, and then you have the capsid. The capsid, which actually is composed of repeating capsomeres. So your capsid is larger than a capsomere. And please note that your capsomere is, or the capsid, sorry, the capsid is a product of, uh, the capsid is, sorry, the capsid protects the genome from degradation. The capsid protects the genome from degradation accordingly. Okay, again, your nucleocapsid, genome plus your capsid, and they can be helical or icosahedral. And envelope, okay, baka nandun sila sa, graduation. Anyway, okay, that is for your viral structure. When you say icosahedral again, okay, and so you have a lot of somewhat sides, okay, and yes, your shapes can be helical or often envelope. Complex, of course, unique structures accordingly. They have a unique. So let's take a look at your viral replication steps. First is you have your uh, attachment attachment or adsorption in other references, or the other term for attachment is adsorption of the virus to the host cell receptors. Please note that your viral surface proteins will bind to specific host cell receptors. There is a binding that will take place. They will attach. And then after that, after attachment, your penetration takes place, or this is already the entry of your viral of your virus. Okay. Yes, the after attachment, the virus will not stay attached. It will penetrate. The virus will penetrate, going inside the host's cell. Please note inside the host cell. And what are the methods of penetration? That can be endocytosis, that can be fusion with the membrane, or can be direct injection. For direct injection, uh, this one is for your bacteriophages. This is for your bacteriophages. And then you have uncoating. Your after penetration, once that the virus has entered the cell, is enter the host cell, it will uncoat. Okay, the next step is uncoating. It is uncoating. And there is in uncoating, the viral genome is released into the host cell. The viral genome is released inside. It is released inside the host cell. And please note that release or uncoating is the uncoating of your viral genome is mediated by hosts enzymes or viral proteins accordingly. And then you have your replication or genome replication of the genome. Uh, Again, you have two types. You have DNA viruses and RNA viruses. Okay, they cannot be both. Again, they cannot be both. You only have DNA, and you only have DNA present in the virus, or RNA present in the virus, but not both DNA and RNA present in one virus. No. Okay, your DNA viruses, of course, they utilize DNA polymerase, that is, yes, that is synthesized. And then your RNA virus, of course, they utilize viral RNA dependent RNA polymerase enzymes. Again, your RNA virus, they use viral RNA dependent RNA polymerase enzymes. And then you have protein synthesis. Okay, your protein synthesis, there is the translation of your viral mRNA. In the protein synthesis, there is the translation of viral mRNA. And yes, in the protein synthesis, it will produce structural proteins and enzymes. It will produce structural proteins and enzymes that are somewhat needed by this virus to survive. And then after protein synthesis, of course, you have your assembly. Okay, this what we call this newly synthesized proteins, they are assembled. Okay, they are assembled accordingly. Okay, your assembly, this one is otherwise known as maturation. Please note that new virus or new virions assembled from replicated genomes. Okay, new virions or new virus, they are assembled from replicated genomes and synthesized proteins from the protein synthesis. And this one, your assembly of a new virus occurs either in the nucleus or in the cytoplasm, depending on the virus accordingly. And then after that, there is the release of your newly assembled virus. Okay, it can be cell lysis, it can be budding, and whatsoever. Okay, and so for your cell lysis, uh, it is the release process for your non-enveloped viruses. Your cell lysis, this one is the release process for your non-enveloped viruses, and your budding, this one is for your enveloped viruses. Budding using the host membranes is utilized by your enveloped viruses. Okay, and yes, that is for your viral replication step. As for laboratory detection of your virus, you can make use of direct detection tests, direct tests like antigen test, microscopy, and PCR or nucleic acid amplification techniques. Please note that the ordinary bright field microscopy cannot identify virus. It cannot identify virus. That is why for this one, it utilizes a high quality a high quality high quality microscope. Okay, for the microscopy of virus, it utilizes high quality microscope that can and magnify. And a very good example of that microscope is your yeah it's the electron microscope. It's the electron microscope. Okay, it's the electron microscope. And please, what is the light source of the electron microscope? It is electron beams. Electron beams. Aside from your direct detection, you have your indirect detection, which is done in the serology laboratory, And yes, please note. Okay, and so your culture media. Okay, and so yes, your what do you call this, your virus can be cultured, but it requires special, special technique or method. So I guess we will end here. Let's continue some other time. And this has been Gael, reminding you to live fully, love deeply, laugh often, keep learning, and never forget to enjoy the ride. And as you move forward, may you always choose curiosity over fear, kindness over convenience, and growth over comfort. Celebrate your small victories, honor your quiet moments, and trust that every step, no matter how uncertain, shapes the story you are meant to tell. The world is wide, your time is precious, and your journey is uniquely yours. Go make it extraordinary. Thank you so much. Thank you and see you around.